Are you alive out there, Internet? We hope you're with us. Let's get excited. It is
I'm
Monday.
excited.
Excited. It is Monday, October 26th, 2020. It is the penultimate episode of Big Brother 22 as we kicked off our final three in this season of All Stars with Cody, Nicole, and Enzo. What a spectacle it was. We're coming to you here on Super Mader Brothers podcasting, simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson to break this and the entire season down, because what a journey it's been. Here we are, guys, 35 episodes later in this show. We didn't know what this would be like to podcast the whole season, but we're nearly at the finish. I want to start with Jaemeel. Jaemeel, do you have your Tums? Do you have your end assets ready? I wasn't here.
You know what he needs? You know what he needs, Dave? Is some 5-hour energy. That's what he needs.
Oh my gosh.
Do you need some 5-hour energy?
I definitely need it for this episode. My gosh, was it boring. Oh my gosh. Previously, I kind of fell asleep during a previous episode. This takes the cake. My gosh. Like, hey, I've never watched this season before, so this is what that episode was. It was a gigantic recap, right?
Right.
It was also a reach over for each of the contestants. It was a complete reach over.
Do you feel like they were selling us something tonight? Oh, sorry. I feel like my camera is way off. So, try to fix it. Yeah, okay. I do want to, just before we dive into that, let's say hi to Jeff, because we haven't formally said hi to Jeff yet tonight. Jeff, how are you feeling about this episode? And I wasn't here Thursday night. You two guys covered this while I was doing Discovery. Now that we're nearly at the end, how are you feeling?
The more I watched the episode, the more I felt like I just hope Cody wins, and that's the end. Like that's how I felt. I'm like, okay, Nicole's the two already won. Enzo, I kind of hope gets taken by Cody to the end, so he doesn't have to finish third again, but he finishes second. I kind of hope Nicole finishes third. That's my hope. That's what I'm going for. I don't know about you guys, but can you think of a better scenario?
No one wins. The series just ends.
Yeah, like I think that there's different scenarios that I think could be interesting in terms of how this could play out. Like if somebody backstabs somebody else, a la Cody and Nicole. But yeah, like it's been a playing by like the game by numbers, by odds, and it's been a very safe game and not the most interesting to watch. But as Julie sold it to us tonight, they played a perfect game. The three of them, all three of them in their own way, a perfect game. How can we argue with that, Jaemeel?
I thought you were going to play the "Congratulations, Cody" clip. That's what I was kind of waiting for.
I got to hear it again.
I know.
It gets played every episode.
Congratulations, Cody!
Cody.
Oh, Cody. Oh my
Cody.
gosh. By any chance, can Tyler's cow somehow make it into the final three to kind of liven things up? Because I'm pulling for that inflatable cow to win.
Mulana. I kind of hope Mulana comes in third, not Enzo.
So Nicole gets fourth.
Nicole gets fourth. Cody wins first and second. He gets both prizes.
Yeah, might as well.
That's the ideal scenario. Why did I think of that? That's it, yo.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Jeff, did Cody play a perfect game?
He played a game that was preset for him to do well in. There's no
the table was rigged. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it was completely rigged that he would definitely win the game, but he was definitely in a situation. It wasn't because he won the first HOH. He had relationships going into that house that he knew he was going to be able to trust, right? And he did that, and then he was just made friends with everybody else. Made them feel like he was in their alliance. but wasn't really. But it was always on the right side of the vote, right? Which is a good way to play. Win comps and make decisions, but always kind of have like the right people near you, and he did that, and he's something that was deserving of this game. But the game was kind of rigged for him. But that doesn't mean I think Nicole or Enzo should win, because I think Nicole didn't really start playing until like final five, and Enzo
Has he started playing?
when Enzo did have decisions to make and power, Enzo didn't follow through and make a big flashy move. He was trying to like prop up tonight, like Kaser. Oh, that was like, I got that big legend now, and that was a big deal. And it was just like, dude, like you should have probably worked with a person like Kaser and built an alliance, that wasn't so tied to Cody, and then had like your backdoor plan. That would have been smart. But instead, they just picked everybody off, right, and made it boring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about, because this, Jaemeel, I don't remember the last time in Big Brother we had a pre-jury segment in something like this. This is like part one of the finale, basically, tonight. And we got all five of them back. We had Kaysar, we had Nicole Anthony, we had Keisha, we had Bailey, and Janelle. What do you think that this was helping the show? This did you welcome?
No, it didn't help. Well, it made people like, hey, remember Janelle, who you want to win for America's favorite player? Well, here she is. If you forgot, Dave, I got a question for you. When I watched this segment, was it just me, or Nicole Anthony was trying to like work for CBS? Because she was like laying it on thick with, I'm being even-handed, and Cody played a really good game. Well, what about Nicole? Like, she was trying to like lead it, and I'm like, put the podcast hat down for a second, right? You're supposed to be like a person, not like a mouthpiece for CBS, and it just seems so evident, so blatant. It was embarrassing. Actually, it was straight up embarrassing.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Jaemeel. Like, I wrote right in my notes that Nicole Anthony is a sellout. And then I also wrote later on, so annoying, because she was literally a spokesperson for Nicole Frenzel. I thought, like, is she on the take? Is she in on this? Or
she
something?
Got an invite for the wedding,
which I don't think is really true. But what I think was, Nicole Anthony is definitely coming, that she has a perspective that Nicole Frenzel is the player that she looks up to, or is the one that she thinks is admirable in the traits that she in the traits you have as a Big Brother player that she values more importantly, among other things, right? And so I thought that also, I wrote down Nicole Anthony has a sparkly shirt. That was quite sparkly, and maybe too sparkly for this kind of a segment. I'm not saying that it was more revealing than, let's say, Bailey, with who
Bailey was trying to get that.
Bailey had it right in there. There's the camera. There was some angles there. Do you, Bailey? But it was quite some interesting approaches to the at home segments from these final five.
Was Keisha at home, or was she visiting a museum?
Keisha, I'm not sure where Keisha was. I thought Keisha was at an antique store, perhaps, or somewhere.
Is she at Disney The Experience, Black Panther? Right? I'm like, wait, what? Where is she?
She in fact lives in Orlando. She has a cot right by the Universal Studios. So
yeah, Keisha was just like, I like Cody. Ooh. And Keisha just like, agree, whatever.
Yeah. She just would have been another sheep.
Oh yeah.
Had she played.
I'm glad that some of these people were out in the you're kind of like, well, maybe they were right to cut some of these people. Maybe not Kaser, but
Kaser was in a different season. Kaser was in a different season than a lot of these people.
Kaser shouldn't have played with these players. Kaser should have played with older players that it would have been better to watch. There should have been a whole season of Memphis's and Kasers and Janelles, and old players come back and then you throw in a few rookies, like a few new all stars type thing. Then
Or you do old versus new, but like you
yeah,
really balance it out.
Yeah, and you actually call that out maybe in the
in
like the sides or whatever you want to.
Yeah, like that would be cool if they did something like that, because yeah, like it happened in Survivor too. Like all the old school people got picked off right away, and it would have been just better had they just made it old school versus new school. It would have just made it a lot more clear.
You know, the thing is though too, if you call it that, or if you say that this is what it is, like if it's old school versus new school, if you call it Gen X versus millennial, whatever, people will always say, "I'm not doing that. I'm not going to stick to what the like the theme is or whatever, or how you're choosing to divide
Well, I'm
us."
not old. Why are you calling me old? Right?
Right. Old versus young, women versus men, whatever, right? There's always going to be people who are going to say, or going to be counter that, or, even in case of Cook Islands, perhaps, whatever was your original tribe. So it was, I just think that, but if you don't do that, then people do tend to seemingly stick to what they know, who sort of reminds them of themselves in various ways. So in whether that be economic or just social or whatever. So yeah.
Well, don't you wish in some respects that this cast was like the cast for like an Amazing Race? Like obviously Keisha and Nicole A would be a team that gets eliminated in the premiere episode, so you can get rid of them as quickly as possible.
Keisha and Nicole A would be the worst Amazing Race team ever, I would imagine.
That's why they get eliminated in the first episode. They can't find the mat on the beach and they're gone. Right? You get Kazar and Janelle, you get whoever Cody ends up teaming with.
It'd probably be like Ian, Nicole, Cody, Enzo.
Yeah, I would buy that. Memphis and like a Flaming Cross, Bailey.
Memphis and Christmas, yeah, definitely.
Memphis and Christmas, yes.
If you could do Amazing Race, you're definitely gonna do Bailey and Swaggy C together. But Swaggy C wasn't part of this Big Brother All-Star.
Bailey and Davon, baby.
Yeah,
and we're gonna watch that on.
There's somebody in the.
Yeah.
Is that
I see you.
Or is that the actual background?
I see you.
Siobhan, I'm recording.
This is on Yours Your Spy. We don't have a release from your mother, so it's we can't have you there. Or it doesn't matter to me actually. But like it's where were we? Oh yeah, because they were selling us tonight on these final three, right? One by one. So they talked about Enzo, and he formed the Root, and the Slick Six.
I thought it was the Roof. It's the Root.
No, it's the Root.
The Root.
I was hearing Roof a lot too.
I heard Roof. And
on the roof or the roof?
And then he said rough a couple times too. He did. So I don't know what's going on there.
We're in a rut.
All right, it's the Root. All right, so yeah, he formed the Root, Dave, with Cody, and then Cody's just like explaining in his whole montage. Yeah, I got like 3 final 2s on like day 2.
He said he wanted to be the triple threat. Cody wanted to be physical, mental, spiritual. Is that were those the 3? I don't know what.
He wasn't going to sleep a minute of the game, Dave. He's always on.
He's always on. He was focused. He is here for his revenge, for his redemption. And that basically because Cody's from New Jersey and so is Enzo, they became the Root. Is that about accurate, Jaemeel, or is there more?
Yeah, it seems so. They picked the Root because Jersey Boys obviously is copyrighted, and neither of them can sing.
Right. They can't be in that musical. Enzo's tried, and it didn't work out for him. It was his first year.
Before he was,
or can't they just be like the Jersey Guys?
That's probably copyrighted somewhere too.
But
like
what about
Jersey
tonight?
Blank is probably copyrighted like everything.
Yeah. Right. But Jaemeel, what about tonight where Cody was talking about when the first time he played, he came second because he didn't take Victoria to the final 2. He took Derek and obviously lost.
He took his ride or die.
He took his ride or die. He took loyalty over game strategy. and it cost him, and that this is what he is. He said it cost him $500,000. So technically, cost him $450,000 because he came second and he got 50,000. But
And
by God,
But I digress.
I think Derek,
digress.
I think Derek gave him some money too. So
So it wasn't even. It's not
He
a
put in
half
an
million.
envelope and he just
It
like
kinda-
slid it
kind
on
of
his
worked
door.
out for him.
I don't know. I think once we're into six figures, I think specifics are somewhat relevant. But hey, and then and so he doesn't want to do that again. Then okay, so let's just park on that for a second. So
I think I know what you're going with that statement. And the question is he going to do it again? But didn't he say both are his ride or die? So what exactly is he saying? And narrative speaking, from what we've seen, especially presented on the show, doesn't that kind of point towards taking Nicole to the end as opposed to taking Enzo, who was his quote unquote ride or die that we were presented narratively throughout the entire season? Is that what you were kind of leading with the
yeah, exactly. Like, what is it exactly that Cody is? He saying that he's just set up well socially, that either one of these people will take him to the final two should he not win a competition?
I feel like he is in that position right now. Yes. I think that he can win and should win between either bodies of.
I don't know, Jaemeel. I think Nicole was saying tonight, she's like, I don't know who I want to take to the final two. That was a hint.
Look, she should take Enzo, but she's probably going to
She
take
knows
Cody.
it.
She's
knows.
always gonna hit. It's the show. Like that, they feed them these lines. Like, what
Yeah.
if you went? Like, would you consider this? And of course, they're gonna give you the pros and cons of either scenario,
Right.
even if they're 90% gonna do one thing.
But the
over
show
other.
also showed us Nicole telling Cody that she was definitely taking him to the final two. Right. So
Right.
she's changing her
So if she
mind.
breaks that, but that's just if she does consider, will she do something like that to win the respect of the jury? I don't think Nicole Franzel's incapable of doing that. So we'll see. Like, that would be the more interesting thing to see if she does such a thing.
Yeah. If
And
Nicole
sends Cody
wins,
to third place.
If Nicole wins the final three HOH and takes Enzo to the final, I think Nicole has to win.
She
wins.
has to.
She wins.
Has to.
Yeah.
Even though it'd be terrible to think of her as a two-time winner, she would have to win.
She would have to win, and she will win.
Would Cody vote for Nicole to win the game?
Sorry, what?
Would Cody vote for Nicole to win the game?
Yes.
He would.
Yes, I think
if
he.
she
Well, if
iced
he.
him?
Would he have enough time if she sends him to third place and he only has like 20-30 minutes to cool down before he votes? Could he be pissed off enough to spite vote her and vote for Enzo? Probably not. I don't see Cody doing that.
Dave, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. Cody, deep down, does not respect Enzo's game. He doesn't. You kind of hear the hints about it throughout like various episodes. Like if it was Cody who did the reverse to Enzo and got the was it night move challenge, and Cody went into business for himself and got himself that HOH, Enzo wouldn't begrudge him, right? But because Enzo did it to him and couldn't straight up beat him, I think he doesn't respect Enzo. I honestly feel that way. That he carried Enzo. Enzo did his bidding. Enzo seems like a subordinate, and Nicole feels like an equal. Nicole beat him, not Enzo.
Yeah, I think that's all. Those some points, but what about also to Cody's game, Jaemeel? Because the pre-jury segment, they said that Cody's got his hand in too many candy jars, and that the jury may not respect that.
There's a couple people that won't respect that, right? But outside of Christmas, no one really got burned by Cody. Like even Danny, who legitimately felt betrayed, still was talking up Cody. So Memphis is gonna like be fine with it, right? Christmas was gonna be like if it's Nicole versus Christmas, right? Sorry, Nicole versus Cody. Christmas is gonna vote for Cody. I don't think she's gonna vote for Nicole, right? So, like, the rest of the people seemed very level-headed against Cody. Played a better game. Cody wasn't like getting blood in his hands throughout those weeks that people were like iced out of conversations. Danny and Nicole and Memphis at Christmas were doing all that negative conversations and slide remarks, right? Cody played it cool, right? Cody didn't go into a business in terms of that. So I honestly think that Cody he might win unanimously.
Despite how many hands and how many
Oh
candy
yeah,
bears may be involved.
because they just feel like they got played by a better player as opposed to like this dude burned me.
True. Yeah, I think that's very likely. Okay, I want to talk about more about Nicole's segment tonight because they were talking about like what her game was and that she laid low, that her strategy was having an alliance with Ian, and she also had her alliance with Danny. That was also big for her, right? And then they joined the committee. Jeff, remember that? Remember when Nicole and Danny were smart enough to join the committee?
Yes, they were so smart.
Wait, wasn't it that Memphis wanted Bailey and then Cody said not Bailey, Nicole because he was close with Nicole as opposed to Bailey? That's what I remember.
That may be true. I think there may be some I'd have to look at my notes, but just but what about Jeff to the point that that Nicole let her alliance members take her shots for her, like Janelle. Like she let who got Janelle? Was it Enzo?
No, Enzo was Kesar, so it was the previous week prior to that. So was it?
I can look it up in 2 seconds here. Just once.
Okay, guys. Here's my opinion. This was probably the least impressive final three, just as far as the pitch goes of their games in this game of like a long time. It's been a while since it's been this bad. As far as like Enzo's like, yeah, that's it, I just like made people feel like I was with them and kind of just like was their buddy. And then like Nicole's all like, oh, I just, let people take shots for me and, didn't really do much and just, kind of like got in a cat fight with Janelle and then we got her out because I couldn't have that. And then, and then it goes to Cody, and Cody's like, "Yeah, I just beasted it out, like I just beasted it out the whole year,
Triple threat.
I triple threat. I just, had a whole bunch of final twos, and I just said, you know what? I gotta get to the end. I took my ride or die, Derek. When I easily could have taken Victoria and easily could have won.
What was Victoria's final three?
I don't know. She was
final three video. That's all I was thinking of.
I wish they had shown like what she said before she got evicted.
So people on Facebook was talking about Janelle. Sorry, this is what Mary's saying. That talking about Janelle was jealous of Nicole because of the way she talked tonight. What do you think? I think that they're dumb. You can quote me on that. Also, the publicity to the amazing Super Mater Brothers podcast is always appreciated. Jaemeel, who is the correspondent on Super Mater's Brothers, said that they're dumb. You can exactly quote me on that. Janelle put in a dig on Nicole because she doesn't like Nicole, not because she's jealous of her. Also, that's just Janelle. Right? They must be new. They must be new to this because that's just how Janelle rolls. Just how Nicole is self-deprecating all the time and very self-aware of how fragile she is and her mentality. Yeah, that's just Janelle. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that, Jaemeel, that I thought that Janelle did not come across great in the edit tonight. In terms of what they chose to show, because I imagine that they had a fairly long conversation, these first five boots who were knocked out, and that they kind of selectively chose what clips of Janelle she was saying, like when Nicole Anthony stuck up for Nicole Franzel, and then basically they just cut to Janelle. I'm sure there was more to her response, but they left. Oh, the only thing they left in was, "I agree," or "You're right," or something like that. And I was just like, "That's hilarious!" Like, this is what this isn't. If I were one of them, I wouldn't be happy, especially if I was Janelle, with how I was portrayed there.
She's
It
like,
also
release the entire tape. Release it.
release the tape, or like at least if they say you can go on CBS.com, I guess, to see the whole thing. But
Watch
at
the
that
whole
point,
video.
whatever.
Let's see the Janelle cut.
See the Janelle cut.
Yeah.
The unedited cut.
Where she just drags Nicole for like 20 minutes, and they're like, we can't use any of this.
Right. Well, if you're not a Nicole Franzel fan and you're inclined to be a Janelle fan, you might think that this was a smear job a bit. That CBS, who clearly prefer and favor Franzel, I think that they just like the feud. Honestly, that's been one of the stories of the seasons was the Janelle Franzel feud. Oh, that rhymes. And that the legacy of that is carried through, and that's partly why I think we got this segment tonight with these first 5 knocked out. If it wasn't for that, I don't think this would have happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, as Nicole was giving us her resume, she was going on about how the hardest thing she had to do was vote out Ian because she didn't like that, and that she was crying. Jaemeel, was this true?
No, this is fraudulent, and I wish that they would drag her for this. I wish, but unfortunately, it looks like she's going to get scot-free away from this entire thing. Even like Ian's not even a person that in after this all is said and done, he's not going to like say a peep about it. So she's going to get away from this scot-free. There's no way they're gonna give anyone a live mic to talk about that whole sequence and how fake she was. Danny's not gonna do it. So therefore,
well, she bragged about it tonight, Jaemeel. She bragged about that moment in the show tonight on the show as why she should win. She's like she cut her best friend or whatever, one of her final 2 people, and she did that so she could stay in the house and then get subsequently put on the block by Memphis twice, I think, or something.
Once, I think.
Once, and then Tyler put her up or something.
Yeah, it was Memphis and Tyler.
Yeah, so she got put up twice.
And in both cases, she wasn't the main target.
No, and she was like bragging about that. Like she was like, "Oh, I made myself look way less threatening than Danny." So like all these like things you're saying, like, are they like winner worthy, or is it just kind of like I don't know. Like,
well, you saw she had the fantasy. This was the other night. I wasn't here for the podcast, but I'm sure you guys talked about it. And congratulations, Nicole. Not the congratulations, Cody, but she's fantasizing about it.
Winner of Big Brother All Stars,
Nicole.
Look, first off, if Ian wasn't there, do you think Nicole would have a target on her back?
Yes.
With how the season played out, would she have a target on her back if Ian wasn't there?
She would have. I think she has by the fact that she's a winner has an automatic target on her back. Whether these players want to acknowledge
the way this season rolled out, she was never in any danger. The people that won, right? That whole Ian relationship was not even a factor.
No,
it wasn't.
It was expendable.
Right?
It was like a bonus for her to bring that along as far as she could.
Yeah, and she didn't care really when they got cut.
And she didn't end up needing it anyway.
She didn't want Danny to be the one to do it. It didn't make sense.
Yeah. So boo. Are we talking ourselves into Nicole winning because of how weak Enzo is? Because if it was Memphis, Enzo, and Cody, right? I think we would be talking up Memphis as well.
Mary
Correct.
says, but Cody was covering her. If you look at all the HOHs that happened,
You're
yeah, Cody's been protecting Nicole. But I think we need to circle back to Enzo. I'm sorry, Enzo, just a bit here because we talked about how Cody ultimately doesn't respect Enzo's game. Do we?
No, I don't.
Right.
And
Well,
I picked them.
Cody also said tonight that he's like, I'm going to take the person that I feel like I can beat at the end first. Right? Like that's what he said, right? Kind of like Nicole said, I don't know who I'm going to take to the final two. So who's telling the truth, who's lying? I don't know. Maybe, do you think like Cody's going to take Enzo or Cody's going to take Nicole? What do you think?
I think Cody has to seriously consider taking Enzo just for sort of hedging his bets. I think Cody's. I talked about this last Wednesday, where I think that Cody's way more likely to cut Nicole than vice versa. But I think that Nicole could potentially take Cody to the end, and if she thinks she can get the votes, she'll maybe do it. But it's hard to say what she would do. I think she's more likely to play the loyalty.
Yeah. Jaemeel?
Yeah. I think though, trying to put my mind in such a fragile person, that she would probably end up taking Enzo and cutting Cody, because she wants that validation of people being proud of her, and her taking Cody. I think just puts too much things in play for her to not win. And against Enzo, um, given the fact that she would have cut Cody to get there, means that there's more chances of people being proud of her for doing something like that, to taking out the alpha player of the game. So that is me putting myself into her mindset, right? Yeah, that's how I see it. I think Nicole, for her game, she would take out Cody. She has to.
Yeah. She has to, and I think we'll see. I don't think it's impossible, but I don't know if it's very likely, like we talked about. But come on, Jeff, Enzo, do you respect Enzo?
That's it, yo. I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
that's what I'm saying. Do I respect? I respect that he's a good social player. That's what Enzo is. He's a good social player, and he figured out how to align himself with the right people.
Well, he's also a decent competition threat, but
right. But he's not controlling the strategy of the house.
No,
he's
a
kinda
floater.
Like this,
Mary's calling him a floater here.
He is. He's like a floater that just brings information back. So is Nicole.
That rat game.
They play the rat game, and Cody plays the cat.
Meow meow.
He's the meow meow.
Would you compare Enzo, Jeff, to JC from?
Yeah, he's like if JC was like 2 feet taller and not French and gay.
Right. Right. But that's sort of player, right? Like the same archetype, not in terms of who they are or sexuality or the way they talk, any of those things. Like it's more just about how they're not in the big alliance, but they're that player that is kind of scurrying around and like bartering in little bits of information amongst the bigger alliances. Yes. Right? And
he does wear like a beret style hat too, Enzo.
Right.
So it makes it a little bit more similar.
Oh my gosh.
If you remember, Andy Herron, I think, is a similar type of player, and he won Big Brother 15
to Enzo.
Well, that kind of player who's not in the majority alliance. Well, yeah. Andy Herron went on to be in the Exterminators near the end, but before that, like he was.
Andy Herron, I didn't like him, but at least he knew how to play the game and knew how to lie and get through the game that way.
He had more agency. That's the thing. Yes. I think you're saying he had more agency in his moves, whereas Enzo's like, "Oh, great, Cody saved me this time," or "It worked out," or
everything falls in Enzo's lap. And then he acts like he was like this mastermind. And it's like, no, you just were very fortunate. Really. I mean, at the end of the day, like
he's gonna have the bitter jury
Yeah, he'll be the
because
bitter.
everyone's gonna be like, I played this game with such agency, and you were just chilling, like licking Cody's boots. Um, and then you won a couple competitions in the early part of the season, and you did literally nothing except be the little bootlicker rat king, and that's it, right? For
That's
the
it,
rest of the
yo.
season,
That's
the
it,
rest
yo.
of
That's
the season,
it. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what I was gonna say.
right?
JC, what Mary would have voted for JC. Maybe in a
But like,
different game, Enzo.
are people gonna respect Enzo for winning night moves?
No.
No.
So literally, he has not won a competition since like what, week 4? Week
Week
4?
4, he
That
was week 4 HOH, and I don't think he's won anything. He was
Night
well, he was
moves.
week
Just
11
cruised.
HOH.
Night moves.
Yeah, he's cruised to the game.
That's
The
it.
point you're making, Jaemeel, the point, yeah, that's it, yo. The point Jameel's making, I think, is that Enzo was cruised through the game. Other than the beginning when he won a couple things.
He won the first veto,
You know,
right?
he won like a safety suite thing that didn't matter because Memphis threw it.
Well, then he won the set. He was the room twist winner in week 3, and then he was the week 4 HOH, and then he
Yeah.
was
And then
he was never
done.
nominated. He was never nominated. You have to give him credit for that.
Because
it,
he was
yo.
an alliance with power. Like, how long was Memphis not nominated? Until Memphis was gone.
Right.
Well, but he's not. Like Memphis is gone, and
Yeah.
Enzo
And
is still there. So how
Enzo
much?
was not tied to Cody. He would be gone long time as well.
Isn't it interesting that there's like 2 of the final 3 were not nominated?
Yeah, well, I think that there's something to that. Like they're not terrible players. They're not like dopes like Victoria from BB16. Like these are
A giant bird is not going to come and pick up.
they're savvy enough, all right, and but like I guess we are frustrated with players like Enzo, who we want to root for, but he always talked about, like Mary says, talked about making big moves and never did anything except for what he wanted to happen, but he never actually tried to make it happen. And so that's why he's at best going to get second place. I don't think he beats. I think that both Cody and Nicole have to realize this eventually, or are likely going to put it as a scenario in their mind between now and the finale.
Have to.
Right? For how much will their hearts tell them to be loyal? It would depend. I think it's ultimately come down to how much Cody thinks that this is loyalty to his family versus just his friend. Right, because if Nicole and Cody's parents are family friends, then that could have a major influence, I think, on Cody potentially. But if it's more casual, then
it won't be surprised if Cody and Nicole are final 2,
and Cody chooses to take her.
Either way, Nicole chooses him. It doesn't matter. It won't be surprised if they're the final 2.
Okay, well, we had to get to the HOH. Let's get to the HOH competition. Jaemeel, did you love the fact that they were zombies tonight?
That was interesting. I'm like, oh man, too bad they didn't have like skeleton bodysuits. It could have been a tie-in with Cobra Kai, but
I was thinking more like David Pumpkins.
Well, that's NBC, so.
Oh yeah. You can't, no crossover between those things. Yeah.
But that would have been funny too. I would have liked that.
Because this is the first time I think Big Brother's had a season in October, right? And the fact that maybe Big Brother, what's that other one called? Over the Top was in October, but I think that was a streaming show. So this is the first time that Big Brother Celebrity is in January, and usually these shows are wrapped up by September. But here we are in October, so they leaned in hard here with some zombie imagery, which I thought was kind of cool at the beginning with the 3 of them all in the makeup, and they were kind of playing the part. But then they just started acting like themselves again.
But wouldn't you like, if this is your final comp? Why would you want makeup on your face? You're going to be on that rope. You're going to be sweating. That the thing's going to get in your eye and your face, and it's going to be like, you're going to be rubbing at it, and it's going to get on your gloves, right? Like
It's not optional, is it? Like you have to put it on.
you
don't
had to, but I didn't. I didn't think it was a good look. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of it.
You thought it was unfair to the players, or you just didn't like
I
thought the makeup was bad zombie makeup?
the makeup was mediocre at best. I just don't. I like this is the time where the competition needs to just be competition. Let's take a lot of these things out of the play. You're not in your proper clothes, right? You want to be comfortable. Like this is supposed to be a challenging. Didn't really seem that challenging.
Jeff,
Like,
were there too
HOH.
many gimmicks? Is this too gimmicky with this zombie theme?
It was whatever. It was like a swing. I mean, they swang around in a circle until two people fell.
Banged into that
I mean,
barn or whatever. Over
It
and
didn't
over
feel like
again.
a final HOH challenge.
No, it didn't. It felt like a first HOH. It felt, it was weird.
Isn't this what they normally do, though? Isn't this what they're usually they're getting dunked into a water tank normally, right? That would be the difference.
Or they hold on to a wall, or they do a bunch of different things in the final HOH.
They're supposed to be endurance, and they're supposed to be hard. And usually, sometimes you're holding on to the rope.
That evil dick HOH just comes back to mind, and how
I don't remember the last time they did.
And Mary's saying they should have done the hen house.
with the egg.
Where they do the fingers.
Is that the one I'm thinking?
That one's fun. I think it's interesting to see like who's good at that. Enzo would probably be terrible. Let's see.
Right.
Enzo's probably always playing with eggs.
But the whole theme, guys, was Halloween, and that they had to hold on to the rope for dear life. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, and there was the voiceover, and there was like Nicole figured out how to slam into the building, and it was like, okay, like
when the witch's brew came out, she goes, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah, she said
that's what happened.
She did say that. I ignore most of what Nicole says when it comes to the broadcast. I mean, I kind of I'll listen to her DR a little bit. I have to. But
white noise to you?
It's a bit of white noise. I just try to black
wah,
it
wah,
out.
wah.
Well,
sort of like that.
I already told the gentleman before we started, but I was so bored with this episode, I literally fell asleep during this comp. I did. I fell asleep during this competition, and I woke up.
They had some great poetry in this, Jaemeel. We had call on the spirits for and wide for the house guest. Need a faster ride. That was pretty good. The route is tight. That was another quote that Enzo gave. The route, man, we're tight. The route's tight. Are you saying you slept through that? How could you sleep through this? This is great TV. What are you talking about?
Boring. It was so boring. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't care.
Were you awake for when Enzo fell?
Was I? Yes. I was roused awake by the by my chances of winning winning this this season of our pool just coming to a halt. My body shook itself awake, and it's like, oh, all right. And then I went back to sleep. Right in this chair.
Jeff, when Enzo fell, because before that they went to commercial break, and I go, really? There's more for this? They show us because they were showing us them spinning around and banging into this thing for a bit. They go to commercial, they come back, Enzo falls off pretty soon, but then we're watching Cody spin around and hit the thing for a while more. Was this excessive? Oh, he's frozen. Let's see if he catches up here.
I thought he fell asleep like me. You were talking about it, and he just straight up fell asleep.
Did you catch my question there?
No, can you repeat it?
I was saying I couldn't believe that when they came back from commercial, because Enzo falls off, but it was a lot of competition they showed us of them swinging around and rocking into this thing and getting sprayed with green slime and whatever. And then when Cody is running around banging into this thing over and over again, did it just like you're like, okay, when's this gonna play out? Or is this why we get a final or the first 5 boots segment unprecedented because they just had so
Because it
little
was
content?
boring. Is that
There's
what you're
nothing on
asking?
the
'Cause it was-
feeds to show us. There's no drama. There's nothing entertaining.
That's right. That's why this season sucks.
Right.
Like seriously, like that's why it sucks. There's no meat to the season. Everybody's friends, and everybody's pulling for everybody. There's no cutthroatness to this season of All Stars whatsoever. They're all too buddy, other than at the beginning. Christmas was kind of a thing, but like Christmas is crazy. So
I just like how casually everyone's like, "Yeah, she's nuts. She is nuts."
yeah, you don't want to mess with Christmas.
Her parents named her Christmas. It might run in the family. We'll have to look into it. But
who's her sister's name? Is Autumn probably?
Autumn,
No, Halloween,
winter, of course.
Winter.
Halloween's her sister.
Halloween, or perhaps May Day. I don't know. We'll have to look into these things.
Rosh Hashanah.
Like,
Just
how
like,
do you
what?
name your name Christmas? How
My
do you
cousin
name
Kwanzaa.
your name's Christmas? How do you name your kid Loyal? You should have named it like
New Year's,
like Halloween or Easter or
Her middle
Martin
name
Luther
is
King Day.
Tell me her middle name is Eve.
or Noel. Like or
Yeah,
something
Noel.
like
I
that.
could. Noel. I can understand that.
Noel.
Question from Mary is: who would have been your choice for final 3?
Of
Go
the
with
whole
Jeff first.
cast? Of the whole cast.
Of this cast, you can't deviate.
Okay, I would go Kaser, Janelle, and I don't know, Cody.
Oh,
You want-
mine is totally different.
Okay, what's yours, Jaemeel?
Mine would be Janelle, Janelle, Nicole definitely would have to be there, and either Kesar or Memphis,
Okay.
because
Why-
I would
why
need to have just for the lulz, dude. Seriously, Nicole and Janelle, that rivalry should have lasted the entire season.
Mhm.
That would
Yeah.
have been would have been like the interesting spark through this entire season.
Yeah,
Right?
if it was Janelle and Nicole, final 3.
It's too hot. It's
some weird
one of them
miracle.
to get the other one out event like
At some
within a
point.
week or two. It's almost impossible for it to go any longer than that unless you're really telling Nicole a bunch of lies, which she's going to call you on the next week. So
You just wanted to go at them to go at each other, and just like in a high stakes situation, right?
oh yeah, it
And-
would have been exciting. It would have been great if we had actually 2 legitimate sides that had actually traded power back and forth, and there had been something which could have happened. We had so many times in the season where there was potential, and every time the committee or the adjacent alliances were just well positioned. They always had power. They kept winning. They didn't really. They just ran the table, and they're like, okay, well, we win. So and power to them. But here's my final 3. I'll hit you with it. Okay,
Hit me.
David,
Hmm.
Janelle,
Hmm.
Ian.
Ooh.
Dave Vaughn would be good there too.
Please explain. I want to hear this.
David, just because I think they would go, how the hell did he get to the final 3? Or even the final 2 in that situation, right? So I just think the fact that he's somehow there at the end, I think just wins him props. Even if they didn't respect him up to that point, he might just fall into victory, depending on how they dislike the other 2. Now, I don't think he wins, but he's a tempting consideration. Plus, he's bait for the other 2, which Janelle and Ian, I think, would be an interesting final 2 because they both would bring something very different to their final speeches. I think they would play.
Everybody would be going for Janelle though, Dave.
Everybody going for Janelle. Yeah, so I think like Ian cutting Janelle to take David would have been whatever, or something like along those lines would have been interesting.
If Janelle gets to the end, she has to win. You can't not reward her. You can't.
Right.
She's too big of a threat, and not just like a Cody threat. I mean, a threat in terms of being. She's always outspoken. Everyone knows that she can win comps. She doesn't really play subterfuge or anything like that. Ooh, Janelle. So
Very
Mary's.
interesting. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Janelle. Sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry, Janelle, Day, or Bay, and
Wow.
Keisha.
Wow.
Not both. Why not Janelle, Day, and Bay?
All girls.
All girls
power.
Wow.
I don't think Bailey would ever get anywhere near a final three. She would explode way before that. So
Bailey is not a good Big Brother player. Like, really, neither is Davon. She's better. She's better than Bailey, but Davon's not much better. Like, she's proven it. Like,
Keisha's not good either.
He's just like not that great. And what was the other one? Was there
Janelle.
one more? Janelle was a good Big Brother player, but now like she's the Boston Rob of Big Brother, and when she comes back, she's way too big for like kind of like when
hands
Boston
Rob
Rob.
Like certain players just have just these bullseyes on them.
You can't. Yeah, they had too much limelight, and people are jealous and they want it.
Yeah.
Jaemeel, what did you think of Nicole's win tonight in this competition, and the fact that she took a big slide through the green slime? Like you can't do that on television.
You're asking me these questions. The description that you mentioned seems interesting. Maybe one day I should go back and rewatch this episode to see.
Oh yeah. You were asleep. Okay. But you know what I'm talking about. Remember the show You Can't Do That on Television with the green slime?
What do you want me to say, Dave? I don't know. Falls on me.
Or if you said water, they dumped water on you. Alanis Morissette was on the show. Look it up.
Yep.
But Jeff, what did you think of Nicole's slide through the green slime and her? She's rallying, man. If she's not going to sell the jury, she is going to sell herself for America's favorite player. Would you at least accept that as a premise?
Sure. Yeah, Nicole's she's killing it, I guess. Her and Cody are just neck and neck right now at the end.
You're happy with your picks? You're happy you drafted Cody and Nicole?
Not to toot my own horn, but pretty good drafting by Jeff.
Okay, well, I think we need to get into spoilers. I think that's our cue for spoilers. Let's just quickly prepare.
Let's get the sound effect.
I need to get the text. It's like
the all Leo cast.
All right, here we go. Spoilers. Every time it's so good. Okay, so just because I want to allow us to get into part 2 of this HOH, which we saw here that Nicole won part 1. So I don't know. Jeff, you know the news, so why don't you tell us who won part 2 of HOH competition, which was between Cody and Enzo?
Who won it? Cody won it.
Cody!
Oh, congratulations, Cody!
Congratulations, Cody!
I knew it was coming.
Cody!
Welcome to Big Brother All-Stars.
Cody edition.
That sets up the final of Nicole and Cody on finale night in the sure to be the weighted scale of justice.
Jeff, how can you not be more pumped up about this? You drafted both of these people, and look how you couldn't be sitting any better.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna win, and if I don't win, I'll win the second time.
Okay. After the comp, because we didn't see it on the feeds, how we knew that Cody had won was Cody was very excited or very chipper playing with chess with Nicole, and Enzo was in the bathroom saying he got destroyed. So I don't think part 2 is going to end up being a very close battle. I think it might be a timed challenge, and I don't think it's going to be even close.
Just Cody just demolishing.
Yeah,
Sure.
Cody was always good at these time competitions.
Yeah.
Enzo, remember when he was like trying to figure out that puzzle where you had to figure out what order the photos went in? He's like, "What do you want me to think that they're not at a game?"
It was a miracle. It was a miracle he won that safety suite timed challenge with the lasers.
Who was he competing against?
Memphis, and there was like two other
Memphis
people.
was like intentionally through it, right? And
Yes,
Nicole didn't want to win it either, right?
Nicole didn't want to win it. Plus, she was bad. And even though
she's clumsy, remember?
She's adorable. I forgot.
It was Nicole, Danny, and Memphis, wasn't it?
Right. And so yeah, somehow Enzo won it, but like it was just about jumping over lasers, which Nicole Frenzel should have won that. So I don't think she was trying. I think you're right about that. She was laying low, Jeff. She was letting people like Tyler take out her targets, and that's why
she couldn't win a safety suite because she's adorable.
Oh, I tripped over myself.
So, question: if you know Jaemeel, does Enzo know he's totally screwed?
I think he does. He's trying to convince himself that he's like, I still have a chance, but
the only chance is Cody wins and takes Enzo, or Nicole wins and takes Enzo.
Well, yeah, but what does Enzo suspect that either of them will do?
Well, like he has to snuff that out, I guess. I guess we'll see if he's any good at the game to be able to figure out how to get one of them to take him. You know?
But at this point, why would you give Enzo any type of information? Well, he's not going to be deciding who goes.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you wouldn't give him too much, but he could try to He's
having those connectivity issues again.
Like the only thing Enzo has to hold over them is just possible vote. That's it. Other than that, he has no power whatsoever. I mean, like, what is Nicole gonna benefit by saying to him, "Yes, I'm gonna take you," and she doesn't. Right?
She should tell him she's not taking him, just in case she does, and then he'll be happy.
Right. That's
like
a good point.
He's like, what is Enzo gonna do? He's gonna run back to Cody and say, "Hey, Nicole just told me that she's not gonna take me. She's gonna take you." Cody's like, "Sweet."
Right? We have a rumor here. Hold on, I have a.
Yes, I heard about that.
Breaking news.
Did you hear that?
Why is the breaking news guy Eastern European?
I think I thought he was actually maybe South American.
Breaking news.
No, he's Eastern European.
He's from like Ukraine or something. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
What do you want to know about what's going on in the world today?
Yes.
Breaking news.
I swallowed the baby.
News. But first,
I swallowed the baby.
So do Cody and Enzo have some kind of deal to?
Definitely heard about that.
Who's closer, Cody and Enzo or Cody and Nicole? What's going on?
That's the story of the season. Is that what this finale is all about? What is who is Cody?
We're gonna find out unless Nicole wins, and then she's just gonna decide.
Jaemeel, is this like the movie Threesome with Stephen Baldwin, and are Cody and Enzo Stephen Baldwin and the other guy respectively?
Stephen Baldwin, wasn't it Winona Ryder and
the other one? Here, I should look this up.
Yeah, you should look that up. That's important. Threesome, great soundtrack. I remember that soundtrack vividly.
I have to look Threesome Stephen Baldwin because I think if I just type Threesome and I'll get to
Threesome Stephen Baldwin is some dangerous stuff that you might wind yourself into.
It was Lara Flynn Boyle and Josh Charles.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other one with Ben Stiller and Winona Ryder and Ethan Hawke.
And it was also Alexis Arquette as Dick.
What are you doing to me, Dave? What are you doing to me? Oh my gosh. Okay, look.
True story. No,
Any-
not the
any
movie.
Any conversations about splitting money, right, is going to be highly frowned upon. But like, it's not like CBS is going to have an accountant that's going to be following Cody, if he wins, and wants him to verify each and every dollar that he wins. Right? The FCC isn't tracking game shows, right? Especially reality game shows. So, what are they going to do? CBS is not going to promote this because if it does actually happen, it's a scandal that makes the show look bad and kind of validates the rigged nature of the show. So at this point, they could say whatever they want to, and like, what are they going to do? Like, it's nothing that as a punishment is going to help CBS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard stories about this in the past where different Rob Cesternino talks about when he was on Survivor. Was it Amazon? I think he was on.
Yeah,
and that when they got down to the final 6, and they were like, "Well, why don't we just buy a restaurant?" I think it was like a TGI Fridays or something. We'll just buy a franchise and we'll make money off the franchise or whatever. And he was like, "I don't want to buy a TGI Friday." Or it was a Chili's or something like that. And
Applebee's guy. Applebee's.
Yeah, I'm more of an Applebee's guy. I'm like, I like their Fiesta special every year.
I would have figured it Rob Cesternino to be like what's it called, a something wheel, a something wagon,
You're thinking about Cracker Barrel?
Cracker Barrel. He seems like a Cracker Barrel type of dude.
Yeah, I guess he's a New York guy. They got Cracker Barrels in New York, right?
Yeah.
Long Island, I don't know, perhaps.
Something with that has steaks. Like steaks. I see.
Outback, like Sandra.
No. In the Outback, we need the
Outback
baked
steak.
potato, wood,
Do it.
wood, fire grilled, Outback steak. Plus the brand new Outback Steakhouse Margarita, the grilled pineapple Rita.
The grilled pineapple Rita. Love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Chef Probst, what a guy.
Baked potato, all the fixings.
I can smell it.
I prefer Probst sometimes to Julie Chen. I think Julie Chen has lost.
That's a prime example of why you would.
Julie Chen's lost a step this season. Like, she's not the same Julie Chen. Like, she's like a little bit.
What was this salutation this closing she gave us at the end, Jeff, where she goes, "Be still and exercise peace"? That was her wish at the end.
She's a Buddhist now.
Said, she's gone a little weird. She's gone a little zen. She's getting a little weird on us.
Has she been watching The Vow? Could that be it?
She has nothing to do, Jaemeel. And when Chenbot has to go just stay in an apartment all day, Chenbot's gonna go crazy. And
they don't just plug her in and let her power down until the next episode that they require her to be on.
But the charge only takes 2 hours. So then when she's back, she's just bopping around the apartment forever, and she's doesn't know what she's doing.
She's reading some philosophy books, and that's why she's like, episode she just finished going through the New Testament. She's like, I love my Jesus. Now she's getting into Buddhist philosophy. Be still.
Right.
Did she write her own closing, or did they write that on the teleprompter for her?
I have no idea. That's it.
Because it was just so odd. I wrote it down because I was like, that is a very odd closing.
She keeps doing it though. Every episode now, Dave, that she's on is she always signs off with a weird haiku.
Well, I think we have to end our podcast like that for now. Is be still and exercise peace. That's what I'm going to say.
Was it live long and prosper? And the response?
Peace and long life.
Peace and long life.
Right. So if you say be still and exercise peace, you would be still, exercise, and be with peace.
No. Still exercise at peace.
At peace.
Oh Oh
No,
my
be
God.
at peace while you still exercise.
Yeah, be at peace. At exercise.
Oh my gosh. Actually, technically, she should end the final. She should end the final episode with "Live Long and Prosper," because Viacom, CBS, like watch Discovery on Thursdays.
No. Say what you will about Les Moonves and all of his things, but if he did anything heinous, especially, I don't really mean this, but if he did anything
You do
heinous,
mean this.
he ruined Star Trek because he canceled the Enterprise, not because that was a bad thing, but he basically like tanked the TV organization for over a decade before it was able to come back, and kind of derailed things in, for better or worse. I say worse. So Les Moonves, I hold you accountable for these things. The other accusations against him, of course, very heinous.
But that's like the top of your list. That's the icing. That's your closing argument against him. Did you
That's
see
the
what he
silver
did to
bullet.
Star Trek? The
That's
smoking bullet.
Moonves. He's a very bad guy. Did very bad things.
Things to Star Trek. He was very bad to Star Trek.
Very bad at Star Trek. Star Trek didn't forgive. Didn't forgive
They
him.
said exercise stillness and be at peace or something. I don't know. So whatever the Moonves are up to,
So
counting all
brutal.
their money.
It's so brutal.
If they
Okay. We talked about Julie Chen. Okay. This finale. So we know that we're going to see that Cody will win the second HOH, and that will go on to have this probably a true or false, really boring final HOH, which I hate. Why can't they make Jaemeel the part 3? I know they have to. It has to be time constrained, but can they not make it better than these true or falses, where you usually have these jurors reading you these preconceived lines, which are just boring and dribble? Why can't they get away from this?
Have Janelle write all of the questions. That's how they get away with it. True or false? Nicole is a piece of crap. True. Nicole's like, true. You are both correct.
Holy crap!
Oh, it's actually false. This card was written by Victor.
Here, Jeff. What if they got Kesar to ask every question to Cody and Janelle to ask every question to Nicole?
It might, I don't know. I'd say who's buying who does Cody have in his like back pocket? You know, like that would, if anything's gonna throw Nicole off, that would be that.
Well, I think that Kesar is Cody's version of Nicole, where he hates Kesar sort of.
But Kesar is like, they're both characters, and you have to role play them as the character to be able to answer the question. So Kesar is a king, so like Cody has to say "my liege" and like "yes, your majesty" at the end of every question he submits, which will kill him. And then Nicole is like, not Nicole, Janelle's like, I'm the queen of BB, so you must say "your majesty" and bow every single time that you answer a question to me. That would kill both of them. That would be so
and I get
great.
prima nocta with Victor. But Victor has been doing prima nocta with somebody else, from what I heard. But,
Victor looks like a shell of his former self.
I don't know who Victor is now. Victor Franzel, as he's about to become. But,
Victor Franzel, indeed, dude. He looks like so sanitized. Like this was like this machismo,
salsa dancing, like very interesting, fun guy.
He looks like he's seen the softer side of Sears. Seriously, right?
Yeah,
he goes to Pottery Barn on his days off and hangs around and looks for chairs that he might want to buy on layaway. That's what he looks like.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Ooh. He's like, ooh, stops another guy who's walking in the mall. Those are some interesting slacks. Where did you get them?
Mary just says we need that Julie Chen back. Drop that Moonves. I agree. Drop it.
Think of that hot to trot.
I think she should just come out as Chenbot.
Chenbot.
She just
like,
embraced her.
I identify as a robot.
Yeah, me
she's
and Zingbot, we are bots together, and
Yeah. She's just Shambot.
Hail to my the robot overlords.
That way they could just roll out like a robot like Sam, like when she had her robot, and they can just wheel out Chembot, and she doesn't have to be there. You know,
Oh my gosh, you guys are killing me this episode.
it'd
Oh
be
my
This could
Chenbot
happen.
versus Fembot versus Zingbot.
this could happen. Chembot, Christmas, you ain't gonna get it. Julie's job. It's gonna be Chembot.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
All
Those are killing
right.
me.
Well, but okay. But do we? Yeah. Will we get anything more entertaining than those jury segments, like the normal traditional part 3?
Like
Never.
next episode is 2 hours.
I know.
Like
They'll do something.
well, we'll probably get a big jury segment. That will probably fill a good portion of.
give
one
me
of
an
the hours.
hour jury segment, please. Please, an hour jury segment.
I think we're at least getting half an hour of jury.
Because we're probably going to get Dr. Will again answering questions about how terrible Enzo is. And unworthy Enzo is.
Jeff, are we likely in that jury segment? Let's say that it's kind of looking like we have a Cody and Nicole final 2. Let's just assume that it's going to be the status quo of how things are going to play out, and that's what they're going to be debating, that as a potential final 2, a very likely final 2. Where do you think that this jury is going to fall? We think that we've talked about this a few times over the weeks, that Cody probably has the votes over, at least right now, especially if Nicole takes Cody, she probably loses a lot of respect. But if, let's say in this scenario, Cody takes Nicole to the final 2, and is Nicole a strong candidate in that jury to win? Did he freeze?
I don't think so. I think he froze. I'll answer.
Yes,
No.
answer. No.
Do you agree, Jeff?
What was the question?
Okay. One more time, Dave. One more time.
Oh no, there he goes.
Okay.
He'll be back.
I don't think it's good enough. I don't think her game is good enough if she thinks that she can take Cody to the end. Sorry, no.
Okay, well, yeah, like Ian might vote for Nicole.
Yeah.
Right, almost. I think he will. I think Ian. Let's say that those are the fun. Okay, let's bring Jeff back in. I was saying, okay, we're talking about, like, let's assume that Cody is, let's say in the situation where Cody takes Nicole to the final 2 because he wins this part 3. Does Nicole pose a legitimate threat, right? And so Ian probably votes for Nicole regardless, right?
I don't think so.
I don't know if it's regardless.
I think I give it at least 90% chance Ian's going to vote for Nicole because they're friends.
I think Ian is too emotionally detached. I shouldn't say emotionally detached. I think Ian doesn't look at it.
Why then is Danny? Why is Danny campaigning so hard for Cody to win? Wasn't she? And she's supposed to be friends with Nicole outside of the house.
Well, they're two different people. Danny and Ian are just different people who I think are going to make their decisions based on different factors. But
I don't think Ian in good conscience can vote for Nicole to win the way that Cody has played.
Yeah, but Ian got like literally.
Jeff, you're just your internet's spotty, man.
I know. I don't know what to tell you. Not much I can do.
I know the feeling, Dave. Jeff, I've been in this scenario.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah, it
what?
sucks.
Literally what, Jeff? They're literally different people, and
Okay, well, let's talk about Davon. Who is Davon going to vote for Nicole?
no.
Almost definitely. Almost 100% no. Okay, so that's almost a
probably
guaranteed
not,
Cody
no.
vote.
Like, if it's Nicole and Enzo, should vote for Nicole.
But if it's Cody and Nicole, who will?
Cody.
She'll vote for Cody. If it's okay, David, who's he going to vote for?
He's gonna,
probably
he's gonna
Cody.
flip a coin. He'll vote for Cody.
He'll vote for Cody.
Yeah.
Okay. Danny will vote for Cody because she's in love with Cody. Tyler.
He'll vote for whomever he thinks is best. Which couldn't be Nicole because he tried to get her out, and he saw what happened with Ian's vote out. I think that Tyler is more level-headed, and he'll appreciate Nicole's kind of pivoting a lot more than the rest, I think.
So let's say that Tyler's a potential Nicole vote, because I'm trying to find the Nicole votes here, the potential Nicole votes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying Tyler's a potential Nicole vote. I think Danny is one, but I think she's more likely a Cody vote. Ian, I think, is one. What about Kevin?
Kevin hates Cody, so yes, maybe.
Yeah,
Kevin could vote for Nicole over Cody.
definitely.
I think it's more likely like Danny votes for Cody, but like Kevin votes for Nicole.
Yeah,
Okay, Memphis.
Cody.
Who knows?
I think Cody.
Yes.
He never had a really good relationship with Nicole.
Right.
And Christmas.
Cody.
Probably Cody.
Then okay, let's say Enzo is the next jury vote. Okay, he would be in this scenario, right? So Enzo.
He's definitely gonna vote for Cody. Yeah.
Then there's no way that Nicole gets more than 3 votes.
She knows,
4 votes tops.
She would already have that calculated in her head that she knows that
She needs 5, and she can't get to 5.
She can't get to 5.
So I knows that. Yeah. So she would need to take Enzo. She could get to 5 against Enzo.
To me, it's just it's simple math.
It's got to be staring them both in the face if they won't admit it.
Yeah, I know it is.
So,
all right. Well, who knows, Mary?
Who knows?
The shadow knows.
The shadow knows.
Who are you? Who?
All right. Well, let's wrap up for tonight. So, thanks to all our viewers. And
wait, one more thing.
I'm sorry.
Dave, you didn't edit the document to remove Christmas.
Oh, you're right. I haven't done that yet.
Yes.
Let's have a little song for Christmas. So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another contestant.
Oh, it's Christmas time at all.
I just need sad Christmas songs. Where so Christmas was eliminated. What day? I have to find this out. Sorry, I should have had this ready. Here we go. Christmas went out on day 79. So I just want to. Who had her in the draft? Oh, Daryl did.
Well, you can also put Memphis cross out too.
Oh, yeah, they both went. Oh, I haven't updated this in a while. All right, so Memphis was the 12th evicted on day 72, and Christmas was the 13th evicted, of course, on day 79. So Daryl went out back to back. Is this So what can we say about Daryl's drafting here? These are 2 clutch picks in the middle of the order. He had
where they finished.
That's where they finished.
If you're not first, you're last. Maybe Daryl, good try. Maybe if you work at it a little bit further, you might get in the top 3. But
if only Daryl was here to throw some shade at you, he definitely would. He would say, "Listen, I've won all of these things. I've won like 20, or I don't know how many times exactly. I could look it up, but yes. So we see here that Memphis, he lost Memphis, and then but he picked them at 8 and 9. This is where Daryl had to pick. Considering I think there were some weaker picks up here. David, not to.
He could have picked Enzo and be in the top 3 like some people. That's all I have to say about that.
Well, that's true. That's very true. So I'm just get this out. Okay, so just looking at this, guys. So we see Jeff with that second pick overall, Cody Calafiore. If Kesar, Jeff, had been available, would you have taken him before Cody? Jeff?
Can't tell. Can't tell if he's there or not.
Okay, we'll come back to that. But Jaemeel, if you could do this over again, would you have taken Kevin Campbell where you did at 6
I had a. You know what? I was joking. I joked a lot. I had a strong feeling about Kevin. Unfortunately, he did not play up to my expectations. Enzo is exactly the player that I thought he was going to be. I just thought he would do a little bit better in competitions and have more agency, especially coming in third last time. But he really he sunk into bad habits, and he's put himself in this position. With a little bit more agency, maybe he would have been in the driver's seat. But
would you have taken somebody else? Would you? Well, in retrospect,
if I didn't take Kevin, I was looking for a specific type of character. I was thinking about Kesar. I was looking for someone who would be really hungry to win, and Kesar and also Kevin and Enzo were like the tops of my list. So
right, and I think that's fair. I think Enzo is hungry to win. Jeff, are you there?
Yep.
Jeff, the question for you is: if Jen had not taken Kesar first overall, would you have taken Kesar before Cody, or would you still drafted Cody before Kesar?
I would have taken Cody.
So this is looking like a pretty smart pick.
I was taking Cody if I could get him. I thought he was going to take him first.
And then basically you had the choice of taking Nicole or Bailey because nobody else wanted it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This video is not. We can't see your camera.
All right. And Bailey was an easy no.
There it is.
If it was like, if you can get an HOH based on cleavage, then he would have definitely picked Bailey. Let's lean over the camera. There you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, it was Bailey. Now, okay, we did touch on that earlier, but yeah, there was a choice I think she made. So anyway, I'm not sure what it says. I'm not sure how to analyze it exactly.
Bailey model.
Just her style. Just her style.
Just her style.
Yeah, and
Swaggy's
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. Just
watching,
choice.
so.
Okay, so all right, so I think we've broken this all down, guys. We're almost at the finish line. We covered probably the most epically boring season of Big Brother ever, but we did it. We've almost done it. Like I missed a couple. We've all missed a couple though. So yeah, you've all missed one at least, if not two, and so have I. So hey, we've all been keeping this train going. We're gonna be done Wednesday night. Are you excited for that?
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I going to do on my Sunday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays? It's so weird.
So weird.
Jeff, if they bring back Celebrity Big Brother, do you want to cover that?
Sure. Yeah.
'Cause that's probably gonna be a quick one, right?
Yeah. Are they going to bring that back?
Jaemeel, same. Well, they've been talking about it, but
it would make sense.
It would make sense.
Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait till probably next June, I'd imagine. But with CBS having limitations in terms of programming, I think they're eager to get another season of Big Brother because they know how to do Big Brother now in the quarantine model. I think that this whole season has been a success for them because it didn't get shut down, which I'm sure was a big potential and probably cost them a lot of insurance. So as much as it was safe, that's probably exactly what they were told to do. And we ended up with the safest kind of players ever, which didn't make for a great strategy. But
Survivor hasn't started back up, so
Survivor hasn't started back up, right? And so they can't do Amazing Race. Survivor's basically it. So anyway, Jeff, any thoughts as we're wrapping up this season?
No, not really. I mean, it's been straightforward. That's the way I can describe the season. It's been the most straightforward season of all seasons I've ever watched. And I expect the ending to be straightforward too.
Jaemeel, you be back for Big Brother All Star if it happens. Sorry, Celebrity Big Brother. I mean,
I had a great time. I was going to keep this until Wednesday. It has been a distinct pleasure of doing these recaps with you two. Thank you.
Pleasure is ours. Pleasure is ours.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Thank you for letting me be the adopted third mater. The
You
adopted
want to be Jaemeel Mater? We can make it official.
Jaemeel Mater.
I'll be like, Jaemeel Mater do what?
Just for a moment, just for the joke of it all. But yeah, no, it's been great doing this. Okay, we should talk more about this on Wednesday because that will be wrapping up the season. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think even though this season's hard to watch, I think we're just trying to be honest about what it is.
Yeah.
And so we're not trying to dump on it just for the sake of it. It's just been about more.
I will be perfectly honest. A terrible season of Big Brother is better than no Big Brother at all. So I am appreciative of the individuals who are on this season and their efforts, right? However little it may have been, right? To at least, compete, right? And congratulations to whoever the winner is and whoever America's favorite players. Who cares if I like them or not? They're getting money. I'm not. So they obviously are the winner, not me.
That's
there you go.
Congratulations, Cody.
All right, let's wrap it up. It is the end of our broadcast. We'll be back Wednesday night to talk more about and wrap this whole season up and kind of have a real retrospective on it, I think, too. So we'll see you then. Also, Wednesday. Okay, so what else do we got going on this week? So on Live Long and Podcast, we do Star Trek podcast. Tomorrow night is Tuesday. We have Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9. At 9 o'clock it airs. We're covering the second season episode. I forget. Sorry, what was it?
It's episode 9, isn't it?
Yeah, it's episode 9. It's Deep Space episode 9 at 9 from season 2, not season 9. So
Deep Space 9 at 9.
Yeah. So check that out. We'll be continuing that on Wednesdays. We also do the original series. We got to fit that in before Big Brother finale too this week. And then on Thursdays we do Star Trek Discovery recaps as well, which I'm glad I don't have to pick between the two shows this coming week, so that'd be good. And on the weekends we do Star Trek Radio Theater. We are doing this week, we're doing the Next Generation episode Metamorphosis or Transfigurations or something like that. Anyway, I have to make the poster still. It's the one where Beverly Crusher and the man who turns into a thingy. I don't know. It's you'll see. It's a smaller cast.
Oh my!
I'm playing Beverly Crusher again.
Ooh.
So get ready for that. Oh man, who turns into a glow man. And then we also are doing what's it called? Trivial Debates. Not this Saturday. Is it? No.
Yeah, Halloween.
Yes, Halloween, man. It's coming up. Halloween. I can't believe it. It's already here, Halloween. Yeah, we're going to be doing a Halloween episode of Trivial Debates, which is going to be hosted by my wife, Jane, and it is going to have Jerry McRae back from the first time since episode 1, all the way back in season 1. He was in the pilot. Yeah. We also have Chris Seymour, and we got Jeff Mader all going at it.
Is this the episode where Chris Seymour wins again?
Or ever?
Is it?
No, he's won before.
His time.
He's won once, but that was when Dave hosted.
And Jerry won the first episode of Trivial Debates.
So both Jerry and myself are still the only individuals undefeated in singles competition. I had to put a lot of stipulations on this.
Did Rich play that once?
Yeah, Rich has been in it. Yeah,
but
Jerry is now. Rich, did he win? I don't know if he did. I had to look that up, but I know that Jerry has the longest tenure between appearances by far. Has to.
Coming back.
So he's back, and he says, "I have 100% win streak, and I intend to keep it." So if he wins again, then we may need the battle of the winners down the road. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. All right. So we'll see you Wednesday night here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, and to all of you out there, be still and exercise peace.